White Plains, New York. Copyright 2020.
What is up, everyone?
Yep, no worries. Be there in a jiffy.
This is Baranyam, the philosopher, and Yamcha the Undying, the Seeker. Shout out to the Anomaly, New Era MGTOW Monk, Red Pill Dusty for inspiring this video, as well as my associates. This video is gonna be titled, this video is gonna be about my thoughts on relationships in this day and age, and why certain people, I guess, are overly optimistic about things working out in their relationship for whatever reason. And it's something that doesn't make sense to me, and it's something that no amount of experience has ever helped me come to any other conclusion than I do now, the one that I have. And a lot of people are trying to get me to sort of think in opposite to what I believe, and it's why that's why I believe that I'm, like, I guess, red pilled, for lack of a better word. Because it's always funny to me how a guy would notice a flaw in a mother and a father in how they raise their child, but they will still date those parents' daughter and say, well, she's not like that, or she's special, she's better than them, when it's like, bitch, she came from their loins. How are you gonna, what you can't do is you can't say that one thing is bad when it comes from these older people you're not dating, but it's fine when you can't see it in your own partner that was birthed by the motherfuckers. And it's something I realized too, like what people don't notice about this current generation when they're in the dating market. They're so quick to judge it about somebody who's an old soul, or somebody who has been raised by people who respond to their older stimuli and their older calling in life. An older calling, not one built on this modern, I guess, presuppositions about sex, which in reality, I'm glad that I just brought that up, because, I mean, think about it. As a man, you can't control a woman unless you gave birth, unless you created her. The only entities that control women in this day and age are going to be society and the world. You know, and that's coming from a person who's 48, who's in their 40s and is still a virgin. Can you not understand how a person sells their soul in order to get access to this sexual gratification? If you're willing to play the game and do everything to sort of manipulate a woman to do what you want them to do, that's blue pill, man. No matter how you look at it. You can't claim that you're a manipulative person and that you're always right at the same time. People who manipulate properly have to be able to secede some ground, or else you get caught with your pants down and you look like an asshole. Take it from somebody who you could say, I guess, is learning to be an asshole for all intents and purposes. And you can't really teach somebody that, like you can't train somebody who is genetically a family man. Your little bullshit. I'm a hood pimp. Little shtick, and expect that to stick on somebody who has chosen the opposite path in life. You just can't. And it's funny to me that when people want to suggest that your life isn't complete the way it is, or that you don't have, or that they can't learn anything from you because you haven't experienced life. And it's just it's upsetting to me, because when I talk to certain people, they don't realize that what I'm saying is true. They want to try to attack my character or make threats towards my well-being or towards the well-being of other people, like even social threats, when I pretty much outlined it for you beforehand. Women can't be controlled. Only society and the world can control them. If you claim that you can control a woman, and it's just you're not as powerful. You yourself are not as powerful do not have as much power over a woman as society does, and as the environment dictates. Like you can't take. Okay, just because let's say for all intents and purposes you're a lion tamer, okay, but the environment is the environment needs to be the environment that you need to go on an expedition on is in the middle of the ocean. Just because you can tame a lion does not mean that at any point that lion is going to function well when it's soaking wet, swimming in the middle of the goddamn ocean, around sharks, around things that it's never had to compete with before. So yeah, it can be you can tame it, but can you get it to do anything other than what it was supposed to do? No, not at all. And you never will be. That's not how like organisms are geared to react. I mean, they're geared to adapt to their environment, but their ability to adapt to that hinges on genetics. It doesn't hinge on whether or not somebody, because like I say, like a being can't go through what another being goes through. It can't feel the pain that the other organism needs to feel in order to change, in order to improve its condition. Like if that could happen, then I would understand. But that just doesn't exist. There's no way that you can sort of force another person to feel the right type of pain that actually will help improve their life. I think with that mentality, it's easy to sort of justify doing, like, beating somebody up or harming somebody just because they don't agree with what you think. And it's just not, it doesn't fall in line with improving yourself. Like, it does fall in line within certain contexts. Like, a person might have to train in order to, it's just like this whole thing with NoFap. Porn is fake sex. It's fake sexual gratification. Now, if you are, I'm just gonna say it like water seeks its own level. So if you as a person sleep with yourself, or you you need to do what you need to do, which I don't feel like really even getting into it. Then who you are is, you are yourself. You are working on yourself. You are focused on yourself and pleasing yourself and doing what you need to do in order to move on and start the process of bettering yourself. Like when you get an urge, for example. But a lot of people, they have 8 hours of free time during their day, so they spend that time going online or going to a bar or going to a place where there's a bunch of hexes and a bunch of music and a bunch of indoctrination to try to like justify the fact that they feel a sexual urge when they could just get rid of it faster and then move on with bettering their lives. It's what I get frustrated about, because you could just solve your problem easier than doing this. And if you're in a club, or if you're, like, say on Tinder or something, both of you are lying about yourselves in order to get to this situation. So if she's lying and you're lying, then if you're lying about your value, she's lying about her value, then what does that say about the dynamic between the two of you? And even if you did achieve sexual liberation, or at the very least a climax with that person, what does that say about what turns you on, or about what gets you in the mood, and about what you value, I guess, in a partner? Someone who's lying? Make that make sense to me, because obviously I don't understand how, even with any experience that I've had, how somebody, or why somebody would tolerate somebody lying straight to their face just to get some sort of sex or some sort of resources from them. And it doesn't make sense to me. It never will make sense to me. And for the most part, it's just untenable as a whole. So, I mean, I can't be sold on it. Now, like I said, training, there's this aspect to training where you train for something. You don't train just to exist as that skill set, as having that skill set. You know, when you train, it's approaching a goal. So with this whole NoFap thing, it's like Mike Tyson basically abstains from, going through any form of gratification in order to achieve a higher form of gratification later. And if you're just retaining your seed just so that you can be more uptight and wound up, or more wound more tight when women are around, so that you can maintain frame and do all this extra thug shit, then you're going about the whole thing the wrong way, and you're wasting so much time focusing on your worldly desires, and not actually just bettering yourself as a human being and having a spiritual moment with yourself. You're kind of being with these women under some very dark demonic entities, which are feasting off of the two of you. And it's sad. It's sad to see somebody in such a low state act so proud about their accomplishments when all they have to show for is a bunch of complaining and a bunch of just complaining and just not understanding something that's being said to you over and over and over again. Like the fact that a woman will tell you straight to your face, you don't have any power in this relationship, and you want to go out and start telling everybody that you do, or that you choose to stay into it, or you choose to leave. You don't have any control over her. You only control yourself. And you have no right to be angry. You have no right to leave if you choose that woman in the first place. You have no right to leave and say that you made the decision. Because if you went after her in the first place and she said yes, she made the decision, then if you leave and she doesn't come follow you, then she made another decision. I mean, make that make sense, guys.